The juice box puts you back in charge of your fuel-injected engine.
Hi, I'm Chris Shover, and we are at the Dobeck Performance Test Facility, and today we will be installing a Two Brothers juice box on a 2008 KFX 450. These are the tools needed to install the Two Brothers juice box on the 2008 KFX 450. You'll need a pair of needle nose pliers, diagonal cutters, a 10mm socket and 8mm socket, a ratchet to go with them, a Phillips head screwdriver, the Velcro and 3 zip ties that came in the box with the Two Brothers juice box. The first step in the process is to remove the seat. There's a lever at the left rear of the quad that you push down.
Okay.
Once the lever is pressed down, just pull up on the back of the seat and then pull back on the seat, and the seat will come off. Now the next step in the process is going to be to remove the bolts that hold down the gas tank and the side fenders. This is a 10mm socket that you will need to remove the bolts on the gas tank and on the side fairing, or the side fenders.
Okay.
Now you will need the Phillips head screwdriver to remove the 2 bolts that hold the fender to the gas tank. Be careful of the metal washers because these will come out, and if you lose those, you will have to buy replacements to put the fenders back on the quad. We will also need to use our 10mm ratchet to remove the toolbox from the back of the quad. This is where we will mount the fuel controller. And again, these have these metal washers on the toolbox, so just beware of these so that you don't lose these. I would recommend that you take the side fenders off the quad. It'll make when you lift up the gas tank a lot easier. To do this, you'll need your 10mm ratchet again. And there's a bolt underneath the front fenders that you will need to remove. And then the fender will unclip and slide off. After removing the fenders, there's this loose piece that sits on top of the airbox that basically has no function. You can actually just remove it right from the quad. Now we have the juice box and we're ready to install it on the quad. The juice box will have the ring terminal that we will attach to the frame as the ground. The gray connector will plug onto the fuel injector, and the black connector is the female connector that will plug into the factory fuel injector harness. Now we'll take the fuel controller and I'll show you where we'll route this. Just put it right in underneath where the toolbox was. Route the wires on the right side of the airbox, and then you'll have to go under the frame rail right here. You might have to pull the fender out a little bit to get in there. And we're just going to kind of put this behind the frame, and then when we lift up the gas tank here, we'll reach in underneath and find the connector and just pull the rest of the harness through. Now we have our harness routed, we can unplug the factory fuel injector. This is where you'll need your needle nose pliers maybe. Some of them come off easier than the others. Just squeeze the locking tab right here with the fuel, and then it'll just pop off. Now the gray connector will plug into our black one. It's easier if you start these connectors at the bottom and then rock them together. And then you should hear a little click when it's locked in place. Now our other gray connector will go onto the fuel injector. And then with this extra wire, we'll just kind of pull the wire back.
Okay.
And then now all we need to do is attach the ground wire, which we'll need our 8mm socket for. And you can just attach it already to where there's already ground cables ran. Now we'll pull the extra ground wire through so we have it tight. And we can install the bolt again and tighten it down. Now you want to pull the cable tight, and then with the zip ties provided, we'll zip tie the wiring harness to the frame. Now that your zip ties are in, take your diagonal cutters and clip the extra. Now we'll need the Velcro to secure the fuel controller into the spot underneath the toolbox. Now you're going to want to make sure and clean the area where we're going to put the Velcro so the Velcro will stay attached. And then apply the other side of the Velcro to the back of the fuel controller. And now we can take our fuel controller and attach it to the Velcro underneath the toolbox. And now we'll start the quad up just to make sure that our connections are good. The unit will scroll green LEDs across the screen until it fires up. It'll approximately scroll for 3 to 5 seconds, and then it'll go to a solid green light. When it goes to the solid green light, you know that the fuel controller was installed correctly. If you get a green and red flashing, this means we have a bad connection, and please go over your connections at your fuel injector again. And now you're good to go. If you have any further questions, please contact tech support.